Hello everyone, my name is Skylar McGough, and today I'm going to be giving you my persuasive speech. Just to start, did you know that there are 40.3 million people who are enslaved in human trafficking? This is according to the stopthetraffic.org. We see that 40.3 million people are enslaved in human trafficking. Think about that number just for a minute. People think that human trafficking only ever affects females, but 29% of victims tend to actually be males and boys. And this is also according to the stopthetraffic.org. Knowing this, knowing these numbers, knowing that 40.3 million people are enslaved in human trafficking and that 29% are actually boys and males as well, means that we must do more to eradicate human trafficking. It happens every single day. It happens in our backyard. It happens in front of our face. A lot of times it happens when we don't even know. To help eradicate human trafficking, we must learn and understand actually what human trafficking is to first be able to raise awareness and eradicate it more. According to the Human Rights Commission, we see the three human trafficking types are sex trafficking, debt bondage, and forced labor. You see the three right there. The article, What is Human Trafficking by the HRC, the Human Rights Commission, says and explains an example of a 15-year-old boy who is sex trafficked. There's a 15-year-old boy, and he basically is taken from another country. He is kidnapped, taken, and used as a sex slave. He then is used in what is called a prostitution ring, where he is used in a sexual act and commercial acts for profit. The HRC, the Human Rights Commission, also explains that forced labor is when individuals are forced to do work against their own will. Debt bondage is when individuals are forced to do work, labor, or existing work because of a debt to pay off a debt. And sex trafficking is explained when individuals are forced in commercial sex acts against their own will. Now we must understand the red flags so that we can raise awareness. From the article, How You Can Help End Human Trafficking, written by Melissa Withers, it explains the red flags. We see that the red flags include unusual work restrictions, excessively long hours at work, huge amounts of anxiety and depression. They exhibit fear when law enforcement is mentioned. They offer scripted stories when abuse arises. They show very poor hygiene. You guys can see all that right here. Human trafficking happens so close to us that a lot of times we can't even see it. A lot of times it happens in our backyards, it happens inside of our families, and it happens to our friends. I personally know a couple people who have been a victim of human trafficking, and at the time that it was happening, I had no idea until they shared with me after. Now that we understand what human trafficking is, we can raise awareness for human trafficking. From the article, 20 Ways You Can Help Fight Human Trafficking, written by the U.S. Department of State, raising awareness should be one of the first steps we take to eradicate human trafficking. Whether that's volunteering, whether that's, speaking out loud to friends and family, going to awareness events, or anti-trafficking organizations. The U.S. Department of State also recommends that becoming a mentor to young people can help expedite this process to eradicate human trafficking. Traffickers a lot of times tend to target those who are younger and those who are going through difficult times and actually already are dealing with anxiety or depression. The U.S. Department of State gives us the trafficking hotline number, which is a good number to call if you ever think that you see human trafficking, if you know someone who's human trafficked, or if you have any questions. The number is 1-888-373-7888. Understanding the red flags and that we should raise awareness allows us to engage in becoming aware, and it allows us to engage in community events and to actually make a difference. From the article, Raise Awareness from the Human Trafficking Search, we realize that spreading the word goes far beyond friends and family. This includes that we should express our feelings, we should talk about human trafficking on social media, we should talk to people about how we actually feel about human trafficking and how there must be more to be done to eradicate human trafficking. And financially, we can support human trafficking too. Human trafficking is the second most profitable industry for criminals. From the article, Recent Human Trafficking Statistics, the International Labor Organization, or the ILO, explains that $150 billion is profited annually from human trafficking. Think about that. $150 billion every single year. And not only to break that down a little bit for you, the ILO, the International Labor Organization, also explains that $21,800 is profited every single year per victim from human trafficking. So $21,800 per victim. There's 40.3 billion victims enslaved in human trafficking, and there's $150 billion that is generated annually from this industry. That is sick to my stomach. Let that sink in for a minute. In Melissa Withers' article, How Can You Help End Human Trafficking?, she explains that raising money can immediately help by eradicating human trafficking. It can immediately help others. It can immediately help that profit number of $150 billion go down. By funding online or meeting with communities, there are so many organizations that are doing this already just to help eradicate human trafficking in the form of financially. Financially, even just small little amounts can make a huge difference. And in conclusion, just seeing this breaks my heart. Constantly, thousands and thousands of people suffer every single year from human trafficking. I'm going to give you guys my works cited real quick. So we must understand human trafficking. We must understand the red flags, know what human trafficking actually is. This allows us then to raise awareness. This allows us then to take the next step. This allows us to financially support human trafficking. And over all of this, this allows us to do more to eradicate human trafficking and get rid of human trafficking in this horrible industry. More must be done just to help human trafficking. More must be done to help these victims who are suffering each and every year and are being profited off of every single year. I want to thank you guys for listening to my speech. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed my speech. I hope you took something from it, maybe learned something a little bit. I hope that you could take that next step just to help eradicate human trafficking. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.